Coming up, Ole Miss students are having trouble working back into a school routine, and a mental health crisis is starting to show as students spend more and more time in quarantine. That and more coming up. Newswatch Ole Miss starts now. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm Matthew Hendley. One thing to keep in mind as many people in Oxford get busier while coping with the pandemic is not just your physical health, but mental health as well. Rebecca Donaldson has more on this and how counseling providers are scrambling to meet the demand for their services.
According to the Mental Health America Association, last year, 8 out of 10 people showed symptoms for depression and anxiety as a result of isolation and loneliness. Oxford Wellness owner Nancy Dupont says that counselors all over town are seeing a lot more patients due to the pandemic.
What the stats show as far as mental health being the next pandemic is 110% true. We are definitely seeing a high demand.
The Ole Miss Counseling Center is also seeing more students booking appointments. They say they're hiring more counselors to meet the demand, but for now, students are struggling to get an appointment. Student Catherine McCulloch says she's been seeing this with scheduling appointments herself. Even with the option of virtual sessions, it's less frequent, but she's still glad she can use the services.
It's really difficult to get an appointment. I think there's some understaffing over there, and so it's just harder for them to work in students. I think they've also had a big influx of students with the pandemic.
For more information or to book an appointment with the Ole Miss Counseling Center, visit counseling.olemmiss.edu. It's simple and stress-free. You can even do it on your phone. Rebecca Donaldson, Newswatch Ole Miss.
Nancy Dupont says it's important to remember therapy is not one size fits all and that it's okay to meet with as many as you need until you find the right one. For weeks, the University of Mississippi has been readying itself for the socially distanced distribution of COVID-19 vaccinations in Tad Smith Coliseum. The Daily Mississippian is reporting that about 180 UM pharmacy students are trained and ready to assist licensed pharmacists. The only thing missing, the actual doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. It's been 3 weeks since the university said it was still uncertain as to when the doses will arrive, but those volunteering to help distribute the vaccine are prepared to do so as early as Monday, February 8th. State health officials say over 250,000 have received the vaccine statewide, though the demand for the vaccine still exceeds what is available. The Mississippi Scholastic Press Association is renaming their Broadcast Advisor of the Year award after Dr. Nancy Dupont. The School of Journalism and New Media announced the change via social media earlier this week. Dr. Dupont was a longtime advisor of this very newscast. We know her very well. And before advising in the newsroom, she was reporting in it. She worked for 17 years in broadcast news. And Dr. Dupont is retiring after joining the university's faculty in 2006. Well, many students returning to campus during the pandemic are having a hard time adjusting back to class schedule. Emma Harrington has the story.
From the onset of the pandemic last March, everything seemed to feel a little bit out of the ordinary, and school schedules this year were no exception. We talked to some students here at Ole Miss to see how they were adjusting back to campus life.
It's actually pretty nice coming back. I've been looking forward to coming back to school since we've been at home for like 2 months, and it's been pretty boring, honestly. So I was pretty excited to come back and see my friends, and also like just go back to school in general. So
coming back to Ole Miss, I'm back with my friends. I'm back in the mojo of like going out with friends and also doing schoolwork and establishing that routine after being home for so long. It's a little difficult.
I think since I've been on such a long break, my mind's actually been like fully recovered, and I can actually do my schoolwork to my fullest potential right now.
I was looking forward to doing school because doing schoolwork gave me a routine. It established something to do every day. Because back home, I was really doing a lot. It was a lot of chilling out for me, a lot of relaxing. So to go back into the swing of things when it comes to schoolwork, I think it's better for me.
But post-COVID times, should we return to the old or make this the new normal?
I think the 2-month school term is just a bit too long of a break. So I say we should revert it back to what it used to be.
I definitely felt like this was a really long time away from school, and it put me in that slump of me being probably a little lazy and procrastinating a little more. So I don't think this should be a norm.
It's a new year and a new semester here at Ole Miss, and we're back and better than ever. Emma Harrington, Newswatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Emma. With more outdoor dining and bigger sidewalks, East Jackson Avenue is set to get a makeover. Tuesday, the Oxford Board of Aldermen approved the proposal for the East Jackson Streetscape Improvements Project. The project coming off the increase in outdoor dining on the square that came in late 2020 in order to help with the strain of COVID-19 regulations on local restaurants. The total cost for the East Jackson Ave project is projected to be around $750,000. Special Projects Director Mark Levy says design plans will be finalized this month and construction could begin as early as May.
Hey Oxford, there might be rain coming up, but I'll let you know next on Stormwatch.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Each year, hurricanes and major flooding threaten cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Stormwatch. My name's Megan Dillard, and we're going to be having a look at our current temperatures. Over in South Haven and Holly Springs, we can expect 51 degrees. Down here in Oxford, we can expect 50 degrees. Moving over here where it's a little warmer in Corinth, 52 degrees, and Tupelo, 53. Looking ahead at tonight's forecast, we can expect a temperature of 50 degrees, skies partly cloudy, winds coming in from the south at 5 miles an hour, and rain, 4% chance. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, we're looking at 54 degrees, skies mostly cloudy, winds coming in from the east at 10 miles per hour, and a 24% chance of rain. Moving on to looking ahead at our weekend, we can expect mostly cloudy skies, winds that are light and variable, and a small chance of rain. Have a good weekend.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
The Rebel football team moved up in the national recruiting rankings after locking up a top 50 prospect on signing day. Tywan Malone is rated as the number 5 defensive tackle in the nation, as well as the top prospect out of the state of New Jersey. Malone selected Ole Miss over Texas A&M, Tennessee, Florida State, USC, and Rutgers, among many others. Lane Kiffin is extremely excited as Malone is an all-around all-star athlete who looks to become a baseball star as well, much like John Rice Plumlee and Jerrion Ely. Malone's signing solidifies the Rebels' top 20 class, moving Ole Miss to number 17 in the ESPN rankings. Coach Kiffin is focused to defense to fill the final spots in this year's recruiting class.
I think you're going to see kids wait, and that's why we held a few spots because it would be great. It's like free agency, it'd be, especially on defense, it'd be great to have a couple of premier players go last couple of spots.
Lane Kiffin is hopeful that adding more defensive talent will be the step his team needs to compete with the juggernauts in the SEC West. Now taking it to the court, the Ole Miss men's basketball kept their fans on their toes with an impressive victory against the Tennessee Volunteers 52-50 on Tuesday. Ranked number 10, the Volunteers didn't stand a chance with the Rebels' late heroics in a lockdown zone defense, allowing Ole Miss to erase an 11-point second-half deficit. Defensively, Ole Miss forced Tennessee to shoot 36% and go 1-14 from the field during the final 13 minutes of play. The Rebs will look for a strong defensive outing to give them their best chance for a season sweep against Auburn tomorrow at 3. Serving it over to the tennis court, the Ole Miss men's team is currently ranked 20th in the nation, despite their 1-3 record. The Rebels lost their only match of the week, 4-3, at home versus the Memphis Tigers, and fell 1-1 against unranked opponents on the season. Ole Miss is one of the 8 SEC programs currently ranked within the top 25. The Rebs will face number 3 TCU at home on Sunday with a chance to claim their first win over a ranked opponent on the young season. Now sending it over to the Diamond, this week the Rebels softball team announced their slate for the annual Ole Miss Classic set for March 5th through 7th at the Ole Miss Softball Complex. The Rebs will start the Classic against the Sanford Bulldogs on March 5th, followed by a matchup against North Dakota State the next day, and end the tournament competing against Indiana State. You can watch Ole Miss softball at their first home game of the season as they take on Alabama State on February 23rd. And finally, this Sunday, the 16-2 Kansas City Chiefs will play the 14-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl 55 at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Tyreek Hill will be one to watch as Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady face off for the 5th time of their careers to win this year's title. I'm betting on the Chiefs and expecting Hill and Mahomes to make some astounding plays, but we'll see on Sunday. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Newswatch_UM and on Instagram at Newswatch Ole Miss for the latest sports updates.
Former Ole Miss quarterback and songwriter Jim Weatherly died this week from unknown circumstances. More on his accomplishments when we return.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
To end our show today, we honor one Rebel quarterback and Hall of Fame songwriter. Jim Weatherly died yesterday in Tennessee. According to a Facebook post from his brother, the Pontotoc native won all Southeastern Conference and honorable mention and All-American honors in the 60s at the university before starting his music career. Weatherly is best known for composing the song Midnight Train to Georgia, and his cause of death has not been released. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Newswatch Ole Miss. And make sure to follow our social media pages for all updates. I'm Matthew Hendley. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend.